are. Okay, we'll call to order. And can we get a roll call, please?
Oh, sorry. I didn't hit save. Do I look good? Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
All right. This evening, we're going to do something a little different in place of the invocation. If you could all rise with me, please. In lieu of all the crazy events that have taken place across country in the last couple of weeks, we'd like to just have a moment of silence for all the crazy stuff that's been going on. So if you join me, please. Amen. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. To welcome everybody. And we'll start with item number 1, citizen participation. And we haven't gone over the rules in a while, so I was asked to go over the rules tonight. Citizen may provide comment relevant to city business per Oklahoma statute 25 OS 311B1. The city commission may only consider, deliberate, or render decisions on those items of city business that were included in the agenda. For other citizen comments, the city commission may refer the matter to the city manager for administrative consideration or to schedule the matter for commission consideration at a later date. So some of the rules: stand and be recognized by the mayor or presiding officer. Approach the podium, state your name, sign the sign-in sheet. Distribute any handouts to the city commission and city clerk. Restrict comments to city business where they're not on the agenda. Speaking for or against candidates for public office, issues on a ballot, pending an election, personnel issues, and city business involving arbitration or litigation are prohibited. State whether speaking as an individual or for a group or organization. Address comments to the commission as a body, not to any member thereof. Address questions to the mayor or presiding officer. Speak respectfully. Profanity and personal attacks will not be tolerated. Citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual, 12 minutes per topic, and 24 minutes per meeting, unless an extension is proposed by a commission member and approved by a majority of commission members. That being stated, we are going to start this evening with Ms. Carrie Keck, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission members.
Hi, Carrie.
My name is Carrie Keck, and I am a volunteer with Pogo's Built Environment Committee. We are focused on making Shawnee safer and more walkable for all residents. On September 3rd, we had a committee meeting where we spoke with our partner at the University of Oklahoma about our Safe Streets for All initiative. We are collecting data for the Safe Streets for All program from now through the fall with an intent to have analyze that data and map those areas through winter with a draft released by February of what we have learned. The data collection is really just focused on residents providing their input on how they will feel, where they feel safe and unsafe in our community. I encourage everyone to go to safe-streets-shawnee.org to submit your comments. There's actually a map on there, an interactive map where you can select the areas of our city and our community that you feel safe and unsafe, and share your thoughts on the reasons why you feel that way. Again, that data will be utilized for the Safe Streets for All funds for an initiative to prevent roadway fatalities and serious injuries throughout our community. So that is very important. I hope everybody chooses to participate and provide your comments. And one also very important thing is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. we are Pogo in partnership with Community Renewal and several other community partners are hosting Pedal Palooza. which is a fantastic event that encourages kids to ride bicycles. Not just kids, but everybody in our community to ride bicycles. But we're going to have a parade, and we're going to have lots of different activities for kids, and we're giving away helmets. So please come join us at Boy Scout Park. We also need volunteers, so please give of your time and help us out with that. On Tuesday, October 7th, Community Renewal is hosting a national night out, so I encourage all of you to host a block party for your block. And on Wednesday, October 8th, we're doing National Walk to School Day. So please come out and walk our young people to school with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Miss Cindy Berger.
Hey y'all, I'm Cindy Berger. I don't know if I ever announced that when I come up here. So I just wanted to come in and talk a little bit about some city business. As we all know, when Mr. Stevens was elected as mayor, he won by a very large margin. People of Shawnee were not happy with the way the city was doing things, and they weren't happy with a lot of the initiatives that were going on. They weren't happy with how the parks were being handled. And so it led to a large margin victory for our current mayor, Mr. Stevens. The issue that I keep noticing is that our city continues to use these programs and these initiatives that our former mayor had brought in. Places like Pogo, Community Renewal, and even Shawnee Forward. They're using the same people, even Ed Bolt's in one of them, and he's not our mayor anymore. They're using the same initiatives, and while some of these events sound really awesome, like some of the ones that the last speaker just talked about, there's a hidden portion of that in which allows them to continue doing the initiatives that we do not want here in Shawnee. I saw a post recently by Shawnee Forward that mentioned social services as a draw to our city. In what world is a social service a draw to a city? I think it's good to have those. I'm a social worker, for crying out loud. Of course I think we need social services. But to attract people to our city because we have social services is not good for our city. I have a family. I want to do things in Shawnee with my family, and there's nothing for us to do. We have enough nonprofits out here. We have enough social services. I don't think we need any more. We need the ones that we have to work with our city to do things that the people of Shawnee want, not the same people that have continued to run these programs and continued the same path that we were on before we got our new mayor. So please encourage our city staff to listen to its people, look at how the initiatives are still the same as before when we had a different mayor, and ask them to adjust. I mean, you guys that represent us, it's not just here to agree with everything that the city does, and I know most of you don't anyway, but please pay close attention and look what's happening. We need less attraction for social services and more things for families to get out there and do. I'm ready to get out and have fun. I don't need social services crammed down my throat every time I turn around. So please consider that, and thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Rob Morris.
Good evening. Tonight, number one, something's kind of odd. The room changed, obviously, and now there's a cop to my right and a cop to my left, which seems a little odd considering usually there's maybe one in the back of the room and otherwise they're out in the lobby. So is that because of tensions around the world, or is somebody around here worried about something? Because that's kind of funny. Anyway, for tonight, I'm going to tell you a small story. Let's say there's a hamburger place. 3 guys go to lunch. Well, during lunch, the driver and the passenger get into an argument. Doesn't really matter what they're arguing over, but they're arguing. Now, the driver happens to act like he's going to spill a drink on the passenger. The passenger hits it away so hard that he hits the driver in the face. Now, number one, you should never hit the person driving the vehicle. That's just stupid. Number two, it not only put the people in the car at risk, it put all the people like me driving on the street or walking on a sidewalk at risk. So now, this car full of folks pulls over at a pizza joint. And the driver gets out to kind of take himself out of the situation, not make it any worse. The passenger gets out, walks around the truck, takes his head off, and right in the face. Should that guy still have his job? Would any of you still employ that person that punched the other guy in the face? Now, should he have acted like he was going to spill his drink? Nope. Shouldn't have. Not a smart thing to do. But the dude he acted like was his boss. Could have written him up for it. Could have given him a counseling letter. Could have done anything. But he didn't. He physically assaulted the guy. So I want you guys to think about that when you think about our people that work around here. Because if he's willing to punch somebody, what is it next time? A little stabby stab? Just a little pokey poke, that's all? No big deal? Or does he bring a gun and shoot him? So I'd like an answer as to, I beat the rules, number one. And I'd like an answer on, y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Teresa Cody.
Well, I'm Teresa Cody, and I'm gonna add on to what Cindy said. I didn't realize what she was speaking about, and I feel like we need to go back to having a traffic commission. We need to get back to what our city should be doing. It shouldn't be following different programs, no matter what party it's attached to. That is what is changing our city government constantly. We're following a pogo. We're not following the people in our town. We're following a pogo. So if you live in the street and you see a problem, it should be your responsibility to report it. It should be your responsibility as a citizen to sit down with your neighbors and talk about how to report that, how to handle it, and what some possible solutions are. If we're not allowing the people to come here to be a part of the solution, we are allowing the problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And last we have Kenneth Crawford. And I guess he's not here. All right, on to item number 2, consider approval of consent agenda. Can we get a motion, please?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second? Item carries 6-0. Item number 3, presentation of pet of the month by Animal Control.
He's so cute.
Hello, I'm Officer Myers with Shawnee Animal Control. I'm the newest animal control officer, and so they sent me and one of our newest small dogs up here today. This is Teeny. He came into our control about a month ago, a little bit less. Teeny's 2 years old, and he's the last little dog we have right now. He loves to play a whole lot. He loves to jump. Matter of fact, he had to get his toy taken away because he's squeaking it out there. I didn't want y'all to hear it. So he was having a ball, I promise. So we started this month, that month being August, with our beginning shelter count with 16 dogs and 2 cats. We took in 23 more dogs, 6 more cats, adopted out 4 dogs and no cats. We ended with a total of 26 dogs and 3 cats. Also, Teeny is up for adoption, so come get him, because he's cute.
He is really cute and really sweet.
Is there anything else?
So how often do you get cats? Is that something recently, or is that?
Cats, we
yeah.
normally don't get a whole lot, because it's hard for us to describe if they're feral or not.
Right.
And of course, we all know there's a lot of feral cats. We don't want to overburden ourselves with the feral cats and not be able to take care of the dogs.
Gotcha.
But we do get cats in every now and then. It's just not normally, it's not the norm.
Okay.
That's why we only took in 6 of them compared to the 23 dogs.
Gotcha. Also, how do you like your new job?
I like it. I love it. I get to play with dogs all day.
Heck yeah, get paid to do it. Right. What's not to like, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this little thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item number 4, consideration of a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of Shawnee, Oklahoma, that establishes and provides compensation of the city manager pursuant to Article 5, Section 3 of the city charter. We're calling Joe Bonner, city attorney, for staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This item comes on each time we do a new contract or modify compensation for the city manager pursuant to the charter provision that was just read by the mayor in the agenda item. It is required to be passed by resolution. This particular resolution mirrors the compensation provisions contained in the city manager contract that was approved as part of the consent agenda in item 2 this evening. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Joe? I think we're all have that. Okay, can we get a motion on item number 4, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call on the city attorney to read the resolution title, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of Shawnee, Oklahoma that establishes and provides compensation of the city manager pursuant to Article 5, Section 3 of the city charter.
Thank you. Item number 4 carries 6-0. On to item number 5, public hearing of a request to rezone property located at a tract of land directly west of 4308 Faith Boulevard from TA Transitional Agricultural District to C1 Local Commercial District. Case number RZ03-25, applicant Ricky Crane, care of Landy's Engineering, deferred from the August 18th, 2025 City Commission meeting. We'll call Dinah Hood, City Planner, for staff report. Hi, Diana.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Diana Hood. I'm the City Planner presenting on behalf of the Planning Department this evening. As stated, this is a request to rezone a piece of property located at the intersection of Faith Boulevard and North Bryan Avenue. Subject property is currently zoned transitional agriculture with similar zoning to the west across Bryan, with the desired zoning C1 to the south and R1, which is residential, to the north and to the east. This property does not have a formal address, which is why it is described by its location. It has a parcel number with the Pottawatomie County assessor, but no real address. The applicant is requesting C1 zoning so that they can build the gymnasium on the property, which the property is currently vacant. And this use is categorized under health club or recreation, which is allowed in C1 zoning. The comprehensive plan future land use map indicates that the property has a medium density residential use. This land use designation features a density of up to 12 dwelling units per acre. The comprehensive plan also notes that this land use designation can include a mix of lower density housing types, civic uses, and limited higher intensity uses, along with connections to neighborhood commercial services. An extension of this C1 zoning from the south to this property would be appropriate given its position as a corner lot between Bryan Avenue and the nearby residential area. The Planning Commission reviewed this item at the August 6th, 2025 regular meeting and recommended approval with conditions with a vote of 4-0. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you, Diana. And at this time, we'll open the public hearing and ask if there's anybody here to speak for this request.
A few handouts. Steve Landys with Landys Engineering.
Okay.
And I apologize, I only brought 6 because I thought of 6 up here, so I have to share a couple. I apologize for that.
My job's over.
I was going to say, I can share up the front.
Here, I'll share with Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
It's just kind of the close view of what we're building combined with, or what they're interested in building, as well as a larger view that shows the subdivision.
I was like, I think we gave you two?
No, they gave me one that's a long view
Oh, yeah.
and one's a short, okay? So if y'all see that, most of y'all are familiar with Crane's Body World across the street on Faith Boulevard. What is that building is basically dilapidated a little bit, and the son, Ricky Crane, wants to rebuild. They own this parcel over here on this side as well. One of the things we've looked at doing, and one thing that does have to change after talking to Seth a few minutes ago, there's currently right off Faith Boulevard, there's a drive approach right there. Mr. Crane wanted to use that existing because it existed there in the first place, but my first comment to him was we got driveway separation issues, so we'll probably have to shift that all the way over to the far side, make sure our distance clearances work. Other than that, some drainage pipes come across. Most of that property is wooded. So one of the things we did, we pushed that entire site, and all he's planning on doing is building like a 50 by 60 gymnasium, a little bit of offices right there for, just like what it was over next door with the Ricky Crane's Muscle World, as well as other gymnasium type stuff, you know, to work out. Other than that, off those pipes at the back, we have a detention system. The property that was next to it was originally Peter Porter's house or whatever over there. Derek Henley bought it recently. And we've got a detention back there. We are leaving about a 50-foot just wooded area before you get to the subdivision behind it. And we've tried to limit any drive approaches not on Faith Boulevard, keeping everything off Bryant. And so therefore, it's more of like a recreational commercial out there in the front for that right there. And really, it's exactly like what they had over on the other side. You know, so it's just a new modern version of what he was doing in the first place. Other than we've got more of a detention area back in the back to meet current standards. A little parking, everything fronts out on Bryant Street in the first place. And then he's got this little side that's got one overhead door coming in so he can move equipment in and out to the gymnasium. Other than that, you know, one of the concerns I think everybody had was how would it affect the subdivision behind? And there will be no cars. Matter of fact, we don't have any driveways to get into the subdivision or anything else. Everything stays out on Bryant Street, which is the minor arterial out there in that first place. So we're kind of requesting that hopefully y'all will see to it that we can rezone this property, and hopefully we'll take that little front area and make it a brand new gymnasium for the people in that community, in that division behind them and Gray Dove and all the little subdivisions right there in that general area. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
You said there is a retention pond built into here?
Yeah, you kind of see where I've got that little bit of a levee built around the back. You'll see the two pipes that come underneath. That whole area will be kind of wallowed out in that area. So that way I can hold water, discharge through this area and bring it back around and tie it into the creek. And we should be slowing down the water. Probably, a lot of it we're doing for dirt, more so, you know, to build the pad and push it all to the front. And so we'll probably actually create a reduction in flow that comes through that point. This little channel that comes through here comes through the front yard of the house to the north, and then it turns and goes underneath Bryant and goes through Emerald Forest around the back and ties into those ponds over there. So there shouldn't be any drainage problems with that area in the first place. But either way, we are actually restricting the water quite a bit from what was intended.
Drains into which ponds?
Right
Over
there
in
between
Serenado?
Emerald Forest on that side, Emerald Forest and Lily Valley, I think it is. There was now it's more of a reed pond than anything else, but there was those ponds there. It drains into it drains into a tributary to a rock creek that's through there that continues to the north. But in short, we're kind of reducing that drainage in the first place off of this. And we'll of course do everything the city codes require to reduce and take care of drainage.
Any other questions for Mr. Landis?
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else here to speak for this request? Okay, now we can ask anybody here to speak against it.
My name is Donald Moser. I live in 4308 Faith Boulevard, which shows this property. I've lived there 17 years, and there's a major water problem there. There's 81 houses in that housing development. All 81 houses, all that water goes right beside my house into this property that he's talking about. All within 5 minutes, within 10 minutes of rain, it's curb to curb. I've seen trash cans go by my house many a time. All that land that's going south of there goes all the way up to Grove School. All that land comes into that one area. That's a floodplain. All that property over on the east side of that property you're talking about, that water gets all over that up to my building. And it has got all over Faith Boulevard twice since I've lived there 17 years. So I'm not against improvement, but I need to know what they're going to do with all this water. I mean, he's talking about those two whistlers. The only thing that's keeping them whistlers there is because the concrete is hooked to a guardrail. And if you go down through, the water runs over the top of the slab and it's washing the dirt out underneath the road, 10 foot away from those culverts. So there is some years we don't get a whole lot of rain, but some years we do get a lot of rain, and it's going to be a major problem. And unless they come in with some huge covers or something to take care of that water, because the house north of it, it gets in their yard, and it's been in that house before. And 43086 house, that's 2 houses from me, that house gets water in it quite a bit. So there's a lot of water, that development shouldn't have ever been built without any drainage systems in it. But you cannot, I never would have thought there was the amount of water that comes through there in my life till I lived there. And so it's, whatever you decide, they have to figure out some way to deal with that massive amount of water. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else here to speak against the request?
So one of the reasons that I would speak against it is there, as mentioned, there's already a gym building across the street. And it seems like if we build another one, is that building going to be another dilapidated building here in Shawnee that we have enough of? Another reason, I had sent the mayor some personal concerns of mine regarding the owner's criminal background and his home address listed as right up next to this property. So my concern would be if children were going to be allowed at this gym, and is there any kind of ordinance or anything that might protect children or prevent anything like this from going up. So I just also really don't think we need another building that's dilapidated just sitting there. So if there's a way to fix up your building, what you have, maybe we should get some more incentives to that.
Thank you. Anybody else speak against it? Okay, we'll now close the public hearing.
Can I make one other?
Sorry?
I just want to make it clear, the Ricky Crane that they're talking about with the past was the father who's died. It's the son that's like 32 years old.
Okay, on to item number 6. Consideration of an ordinance to rezone property located at a tract of land directly west of 4308 Faith Boulevard from TA Transitional Agriculture District to C1 Local Commercial District. Case number RZ03-25. Applicant Ricky Crane, care of Landis Engineering, deferred from the August 18th, 2025 City Commission meeting. So we need to call on Dinah Hood once again for item number 6, please.
As stated, this is the ordinance to accompany the item number 5, which was for the public hearing. The ordinance for your consideration is to accept the Planning Commission's recommendation of approval with conditions, to approve and adopt the ordinance to rezone with no conditions, or to table for further discussion or deny the rezoning.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any more discussion amongst ourselves?
What conditions, what would that look like?
That would be a question for Diana.
Yeah, what conditions are we looking at? I would assume it would have something to do with drainage.
Yes, it did. The Planning Commission's conditions for approval were that the applicant would, upon submitting for a building permit, that they would have a drainage study ready for staff's review.
Who would provide that drainage study?
That would be the applicant.
They would find whoever.
Yeah, the applicant, Ricky Crane, whether he would choose to go through Landis Engineering or any other engineering firm to do that drainage study, just whoever really, just to have a drainage study performed by a licensed engineer that the applicant would provide.
Thank you. Okay, can we get a motion on item number 6?
I move to approve with the conditions as outlined by the Planning Commission.
Can we get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll call on City Attorney to read the ordinance title, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An ordinance concerning the zoning classification of the following described property located within the corporate limits of the city of Shawnee, Potawatomi County, Oklahoma, to wit, a tract of land beginning at a point 228.5 feet south, 2 degrees, 27 minutes, 42 seconds east of the northwest corner of the north half of the south half of the northwest quarter of Section 4, Township 10 North, Range 4 east of the Indian Meridian, Potawatomi County, Oklahoma, then south 2 degrees, 27 minutes, 42 seconds east, a distance of 112.5 feet, thence north 89 degrees 6 minutes 2 seconds east, a distance of 294 feet, thence north 2 degrees 27 minutes 42 seconds west, a distance of 112.5 feet, thence south 89 degrees 6 minutes 2 seconds west, a distance of 294 feet to the point of beginning, from zoning classification TA, transitional agricultural district, to C1, local commercial district, amending the official zoning map of the city of Shawnee accordingly.
Now we'll call the question. Item carries 5-1. On item number 7, public hearing of a request for a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at the property addressed at 15105 Echo Road, case number CUP 01-25. Applicant Jeff and Katie Cannon, CC Cannon LLC. Calling Diana Hood once again.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
As stated, this is a request for a conditional use permit, specifically with the intent to allow the operation of a short-term rental at this address. This subject area, as stated at 15105 Echo Road, is a lake lease with the city and is located just south of the intersection of Echo Road and Homer Lane Road. It is in the Twin Lakes area. Twin Lake number 1 is located to the southeast. The area is zoned TL for Twin Lakes, and there are approximately 8 other residences on Echo Road. Section 22-199I of the Unified Development Code requires that anyone who wants to operate a short-term rental must obtain a conditional use permit. And the conditional use permit, as a conditional use permit by nature authorizes an owner or agent to utilize a piece of property in a way that is not normally allowed by right in a subject zoning district, but rather an avenue by which certain land uses are allowed, provided that the applicant meets certain criteria. So short-term rentals are allowed in all zoning districts except for the 2 commercial zoning districts and the 2 industrial zoning districts, and all of them require a conditional use permit. The comprehensive future land use map indicates an agriculture or open space land use, and the current zoning of TL Twin Lakes was specifically designed to enhance the experience of residents, tourists, visitors, while protecting the character and environment of the area. Let's see. This property has been operating in the past as a short-term rental. They're listed on Airbnb. This request for a conditional use permit is their attempt and their desire to come into compliance with city code. Are there any questions for staff?
Any questions for Diana at this time? Okay, thank you. This time we'll open a public hearing and ask if there's anybody here to speak for this request.
Are we both them up?
Sure.
Good evening. My name is Katie Cannon, and my husband and I are here tonight to respectfully request approval of conditional use permit for our property at 15105 Echo Road. This is a small 2-bed, 2-bath cabin. Our personal home is the closest structure to the cabin next door, so it is important to note that we are not absentee owners. No one is more committed to maintaining a safe, peaceful, and well-kept property than we are. We personally greet each guest upon arrival and make sure that they know we live next door. We are very selective about who we rent to, and Airbnb allows us to accept or decline bookings based on the number of guests, the reason for their visit, their rental history, and reviews. We understand that there are concerns about short-term rentals, and while we feel excitement in allowing more people to experience our lake, we recognize that not all lake residents share that sentiment. However, we believe that when managed responsibly, these rentals can benefit our community. In our experience, our guests have been kind, respectful people who value the lake as much as we do. Many have become friends, we've shared backyard games, our kids have played together, and we've recommended local dining, shopping, and entertainment so that their spending stays within our community. If our neighbors have a concern, we welcome and encourage a call or text at any time, day or night, and we will address it promptly. To date, we have not received a single call or text message from any of our neighbors. As someone who was born and raised in Shawnee and plans to live here for life, I want to see our city flourish. We believe this is one small way to support that growth. We love Shawnee Lake. It's truly a special place, and we feel called to share it with others. We have invested significant time, effort, and money into this project, and we are fully committed to operating it safely and responsibly. We also understand that oversight that comes with a conditional use permit, and we agree to be held to the highest standard. Thank you for your time and consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the Cannons here?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else here to speak for this request? Is there anybody here to speak against this request?
Hello again. I'm a little on the fence on being against this, but there are some folks at the lake that think we should prioritize more the homeless encampments that have popped up out there, having a lake ranger and some other things. I know a lot of that's planned for the future, but they would like to see that this gets tabled for a little bit so that we can work on some other things. I'm not terribly big on it because you pay a tiny amount for the lake lease and then you get to make however much money off that you want. Then, I mean, can we sue who will give us more for the lease next time? I mean, let's play that game. So with that being said, take the lake people that I'm sure will reach out to you, Frank, and some other people that do have questions about this and concerns. Couldn't be here tonight, so I said I'd speak up. I apologize for not making a whole lot of sense. This was kind of last minute. But there are people out there that would like this tabled and looked into better and focus more on the problems out at the lake than somebody wants to make money off of the lease they don't really pay much for to begin with. And that's true. The leases aren't that much. So with that, thank you for your time. Oh, last thing, I apologize. Cannon LLC, I'm curious, there's a Vacant LLC in Shawnee too, which is the city attorney and the Cannon family. Is this the same Cannons? Because if it is, he can't be a part of this at all because he's making money with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak against the request?
Good evening. I speak against it, or at least tabling it, to have additional information come out about the usage of it. Bed and breakfast sounds good, but it could turn into being a party atmosphere at the lake. And with the resources that we don't have for law enforcement and security, that could be a problem. And I would like to be able to for me personally and some other constituents, I talked to the Sims today, they couldn't be here. And I think out of the spirit of it, there's a little bit of confusion going on. From my understanding is that this has been taking place over the long haul, but there hasn't been, the permits haven't been right. So I'm not quite sure, a little bit confused on what's going on, and I've read a lot of stuff that's online. So I would think that, if we could take a step back and just maybe give it a few more weeks to make a better sound decision that reflects the people that do live in that area, the commissioners of the land, the people that do have those agreements. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
could you state your name, please?
My name is Kenneth Crawford.
Thank you.
You need my address?
No.
Okay.
Anybody else here to speak against the request? This time we'll close the public hearing. And any discussion amongst us on item number 7 at this time? Okay. Move on to item number 8, consideration of a conditional use permit to operate a short-term rental at the property addressed as 15105 Echo Road, case number CUP 01-25, applicant Jeff and Katie Cannon, CC Cannon LLC. Once again, Diana.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. This item is pursuant to the previous one. This is for your consideration whether or not you choose to execute or approve the actual conditional use permit based on the public hearing that's just occurred.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion,
I'll second.
we have a second. And now we will call on this question. Item passes 5-0 and 1 abstention. On to item number 9, consideration of a request to reduce the speed limit on North Kickapoo Avenue from West Tech Road to Garrett's Lake Road from 45 to 35, and to establish a four-way stop intersections at both North Kickapoo and Wolverine Road and North Kickapoo and Garrett's Lake Road. I'm calling Seth Barkheimer, Director of Engineering, for staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
This item comes to us from several different citizen requests, ultimately through a commissioner and then through a staff review. As you know, the volume and type of traffic on North Kickapoo is changing. As my memo indicates, we have several new developments ongoing that's going to add traffic to this corridor, both through residential development at Trails Inn and Heritage Plains, but also the completion and beginning of operation at the new George Fisher plant off of Wolverine, and the continued growth of the North Rock Creek School District. We got this request originally from a couple different home builders, and then also received similar requests from some North Rock Creek parents that have kids commuting through the Garrett's Lake and Kickapoo intersection, and then have another request through a frequent commuter of the Wolverine intersection. Given the kind of series of complaints, staff evaluated the current condition and safety concerns that the multiple individuals have brought forward, and ultimately created the item before you tonight. After evaluation, staff's recommendation is the reduction of the speed limit as stated in the item, and creating four-way intersections at both Garrett's Lake and Wolverine. Happy to answer questions for you.
Questions for Seth?
If we put the stop signs up, are they gonna have some kind of flashing?
Yes, that was the plan, was to do at least, obviously,
Solar, just something.
solar that flashes, especially on the North Kickapoo southbound and northbound routes where it has previously been passed through wide open. We're gonna make sure that we get indicators. Yeah, and we'll probably put the indicator signs ahead of time that has a stop sign with the arrow pointed on it, pointed ahead, to give them a warning, a couple hundred feet out, and then have the blinking and flashing lights there. So.
Are there any other plans for Kickapoo as far as widening, turn lane?
We don't currently have any plans in the CIP or moving forward, but we have just applied for a grant to do a traffic study that involves the North Kickapoo corridor. So I think the results of that traffic study would ultimately probably end up somewhere, but we don't currently have plans on a North Kickapoo widening.
And what would the traffic study entail? If you could kind of give us some detail of what that would.
Yeah, it's going to look at the level of service on North Kickapoo, so take current traffic counts and then project as these residential subdivisions fill up what that level of service will do on North Kickapoo, and then give a recommendation of what any projects would be to mitigate that level of service, whether that's widening from a 2-lane section to like a 3-lane section with a center turning lane. Obviously, it's a 4-lane to the north side of the mall. Mm-hmm. So if that needs to be extended, if we need to do some type of signals, I mean, there's kind of an open book on what the recommendations could be, but until that traffic study's done and the level of service is looked at, we won't know ultimately what the recommendation will be.
What are the traffic, I know we have capacity to pull up the reports on what the accidents and things like that. What is this based on, this request? I did some back-end research with different people who travel this exact route daily. Mm-hmm. And I'm being told that they can't figure out why this is an issue, and so I'm sure there is. I don't doubt that there is, but I'm not seeing, so based on traffic, like, we're not seeing a ton of accidents.
Well, there's been 17 accidents in the last 4 years, specifically at the two intersections, the 2 four-way stops proposed. You add in the 80 or so lots going into Trails End, the 100 and something lots going in on the west side of Heritage Plains, the growth of North Rock Creek schools. George Fisher's going to open a plant with probably 300-ish employees going in there on North Wolverine soon.
Definitely needed.
And, I mean, the hope is that we could get ahead of it and not have a major accident there that then makes us respond. I mean, I think that was the requests that came in for evaluation at least.
Any other questions for Seth on this item? Okay. Thank you, sir. And can we get a motion on item number 9, please?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Item carries 5-1. On to item number 10, consideration of an amendment to a contract with Downey Contracting LLC to provide construction manager at-risk services for the Shawnee Animal Shelter Project. Once again, Mr. Seth Barkheimer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an exciting moment for us. We're ready to move forward on the construction of a new animal welfare facility. As the memo states, we previously selected Downey Contracting as the CMAR on this project. We recently bid out a number of subcontractor packages and are ready to progress with the guaranteed maximum price amendment. This project is within the CIP budget of $1.5 million. This amendment sets the guaranteed max price at $1,478,239. Staff does recommend approval of the item, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have on the top.
Any questions on the new dog pound? No? All right. Can we get a motion, please?
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
We have a race for second.
Race for second.
Item carries 6-0. On to item number 11. Consideration of a request for a final plat for Shawnee Twin Lakes, Lake Number 1, Phase 3, case number FPL 03-25, applicant, City of Shawnee. And Diana gets to come up once again.
Thank you, Mayor. As stated, this is a request for a final plat, specifically for Shawnee Twin Lakes, Lake Number 1, Phase 3. You may recall back in, I believe, June, the preliminary plat came through. So this is that final plat to be considered for your approval. Subject property is located to the northwest of the intersection of Highway 102 and Clear Pond Road. It lies in sections 14, 15, and 23, Township 10 North, Range 2 East. Property is zoned TL for Twin Lakes with similar zoning to the north, west, and south. There's a small section zoned C2, regional commercial, to the north-northwest. The property to the east across Highway 102 is not within the limits of the city and therefore has no zoning designation. Planning Commission recommended approval with a vote of 6-0. Are there any questions for staff?
All good? All right. Thank you. Can we get a motion on item 11?
Move to approve.
A motion?
Second.
We have a second. Item carries 6-0. On to item number 12, acknowledge monthly sales tax report. We'll call on Ms. Kimberly Hoover for staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The sales tax for September totaled $2,711,814.62, which includes $4,103.07 in interest. The revenue is distributed across 8 funds. The receipts in September are from estimated August sales and final sales figures in July. September 2025 collections had a 0.02 decrease over September of last year. When comparing the collections to the conservative budget projections for September, we are 6.60% above projections for the month and 2.40 above collections year to date. Use tax for September totaled $328,578, which is 10.69 decrease in projected collections for the month. Across Shawnee's peer cities, half of the cities showed a decrease and half showed an increase in the use tax. When you combine the use tax and the general fund portion of the sales tax, the general fund is currently $77,184 above budget projections. On the third to last page of the report is the sales tax collection comparison chart by month for the last 12 months. The comparisons include Shawnee's peer cities of Yukon, Ardmore, Muskogee, Clarksville, Stillwater, and Eden. These cities were selected with 3 factors in mind: population, city tax rate, revenue per 1% sales tax. Some of the cities saw an increase and some saw a decrease in sales tax from September 24 to September 25. On the second to last page of the report is the use tax collection comparison chart by month for the last 12 months. This also includes Shawnee's peer cities. Some of the cities saw a decrease, some saw an increase in use tax from September to September 25. The last page of the report is a graph that shows the year-over-year sales tax growth by month. It also captures the South Region Consumer Price Index as well as the average year-over-year change for Shawnee sales tax receipts over the last 12 months. 3 of the last 5 months have seen an upward trend when you look over at year-over-year by month. Any questions?
It's kind of a mixed bag, but overall pretty good, I'd say.
I'm sorry?
I said it's kind of a mixed bag, but overall we're doing okay.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, great. Any questions for Kimberly? All the numbers pretty well sell themselves.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Item number 13, administrative report, vacant structure identification overview. Calling Joe Vondran, City Attorney, for administrative report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commission. We're going to jump back in to this item that we first brought to you in the late spring. Just by way of presentation tonight, I'm going to do a brief recap, revisit the timeline, and then introduce the commission and the public to some of the forms that have been developed based upon the ordinance that was passed by this commission, and then look at next steps as we near a November 1st implementation date for the ordinance as a whole. So by way of overview, the vacant structure issue has brought to light several problems. It can create blight. It has on occasion discouraged economic growth. We've had issues with diminishing property values, especially in the Main Street corridor. Fire hazard, which is something that brought this front and center in the spring when we had some issues relating to vacant structure fires. Those were, of course, by virtue of trespass, so we have increased crime that goes along with that. And unfortunately, our unhoused population disproportionately represents those bottom 3 categories. And so this is an attempt to address those issues. So what the ordinance aims to do is really to track having a listing of vacant buildings through interagency coordination, requiring annual inspection of the vacant buildings to ensure fire safety code compliance, to ensure code compliance, to ensure minimum aesthetic requirements so that we're maintaining property values for the area. By maintaining this working list and including those minimum aesthetic requirements, it'll enable us to negotiate and work with the property owners to provide improvement plans, whether that's to improve it for their own use, improve it for sale or lease, but generally to spur involvement with those property owners as we look to address the issues with the vacant structures. Another issue that the ordinance specifically addresses is the requirement of out-of-town owners to assign a local agent so that we have immediate police, fire, and code enforcement contact that is available to address issues occurring at those properties. Again, insurance, and then as discussed and as voted on by the commission, this is a phased-in implementation so that we can address any issues that arise with implementation and also make sure that we don't overwhelm staff as we implement the vacant structure ordinance. And I apologize, I was derelict in adding to the slides, so I forgot we had this fancy animation. So I'll talk about some of the specifics that will be new, particularly to property owners that have vacant structures. And so we're focusing here on the notice that must be posted on the building. And as alluded to, we have to have a local agent and 24-hour contact so that we can address any issues that exist. There are minimum signage requirements to make it easy and conspicuous for anybody who may need it, whether that's police, fire, or even a concerned citizen, to be able to report problems or contact management that would be responsible for that property. So that is something that will be required beginning November 1st. That is a new requirement and something that we've not expected previously, and something we wanted to draw the public's attention to, particularly those property owners on Main Street that may have an affected structure. So when we looked at the timeline, again, we began discussions in spring. This body considered the actual ordinances and passed that in June of '25. July through October is a notice period in education. Tonight's presentation is a step in that direction. Seth's department has compiled a list of known vacant structures that will be receiving written correspondence with regard to what they need to do prior to November 1st during September and October, and then we intend to do a walkthrough in October to notify anybody that we've been unable to reach. Obviously, as discussed, this is a lot about education. There is no fine associated with this. There is no penalty associated with it, but we want to encourage people to participate with the list and providing this proof so that we can better serve not only the community, but the property and the property owners, because we can't help keep them safe and their property safe without this information. But I do want to circle November 1st. That is the effective date of the ordinance. That is when we will ramp up in earnest, get outside of an education period, and begin looking to enforce the provisions of that ordinance. Tonight, we're also going to take the opportunity to introduce some of the forms that will be used as part of implementation of this ordinance. These will, in the very near future, be on the website, available for download. They're also being sent with the notice letter to those known properties that qualify. Again, they mirror the ordinance that was passed, but it's a simple fillable form to be able to provide the necessary information required under the identification ordinance, including the in-town agent or manager for the properties. Also, as part of the ordinance, each property owner that qualifies under the vacant identification ordinance is going to be required to execute a letter of agency for trespass enforcement. This will enable Shawnee Police Department to trespass individuals who are unlawfully at vacant structures without having to contact the property owner or even their local agent in order to obtain permission to trespass that individual. This will streamline the process for the PD and should increase enforcement because, as we've discussed, oftentimes people bypass that rather lengthy process because they're busy or because of any number of other reasons. This form is going to initially be distributed to those on the Main Street corridor that are directly affected by the geographic boundaries of the phased-in implementation of the vacant structure ordinance. However, we will be opening this form up at some point to all property owners within the city so that the PD has the ability to trespass individuals. You'll notice within the form there are options for occupied structures, and there are options to set specific hours. So businesses that operate would be able to set hours where individuals could be trespassed if it's outside of the business hours of that business without needing to come to the site or call in and trespass those individuals. And so this is a tool we want to put in the public's hands. We're going to do a responsible phased-in implementation, but a tool we want to get in the public's hands so that we can make it not only easier for the property owners, but for the PD as well. So there's an overview and a preview of some of the forms, timeline of what is coming, and again, as we target that November 1st implementation date. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
There's
thinking about later adding fines to it or not?
At this point in time, there is a state law that has specifically preempts our ability to add fines for not complying with being on the list. However, we have the ability under the ordinance that you passed to place properties on the list if the property owner does not voluntarily put themselves on the list. And once they're on the list, they are subject to our normal code enforcement and any fines associated therewith. And so if through the process of fire safety inspections, code inspections, or other minimum aesthetic requirement inspections, they are found to be out of compliance, they would be subject to the same fines and penalties and administrative process that any other property within city limits would be. So while there's not a specific monetary penalty for not putting your own property on the list, there are monetary penalties under the heightened inspection standards that would be subject to anyone in town. That, I mean, they're certainly not punitive, they're designed for protection and nuisance abatement, but they would be a catalyst to repair just like they are anywhere else in the community.
On the trespass form, you said it's going to be open to the public. Do you know when that's going to be? This first one is only for the empty buildings?
We are directly getting it to our Main Street property owners, but the plan is to have that available to be downloaded from the website and for property owners to be able to fill that out in the relative near term. But as far as actually getting it to property owners, it will just be within that Main Street corridor because it is a requirement that that form be filled out under this ordinance.
Perfect. Any other questions for Joe on this item? Okay, thank you, sir. Item number 14, new business. Any matter not known or which could have possibly or reasonably foreseen prior to the posting of the agenda. Any new business, Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
Thank you. Item 15, we have commissioner comments. And since Ward 6 is here tonight.
I was here last month too.
Yeah, okay. We'll start on your side tonight.
I don't have too much to say. I mean, it's always good to see sales tax up in the right direction. I'm always happy to see items on our CIP moving forward, and I like the direction that we're going with the vacant lots downtown. I'm happy to see that and ready to and eager to see it moving forward. So that's really it.
Yeah, sales tax, we talked about that continuously, but, we had a real wet spring, which I think affected sales tax. You try to read stuff into it, but the upswing over the last couple of months is definitely a welcome sight. I just got off about a 1,000-mile trip through Arkansas, Oklahoma, and it's pretty interesting going through the communities and seeing the ones that have transitioned from kind of the Main Street Shawnee syndrome to if the traffic flow isn't going through it, the towns kind of dry up, and then you see the major chains come in and put a store, it dries up the local businesses, and then if that chain store doesn't make a profit, then that building's empty, and then there's nothing in the community. So we don't know how fortunate we are in Shawnee to have really 2 or 3 major thoroughfares that run right through us, because I promise you the flow of the businesses go after that traffic. And the sad thing for Shawnee downtown is not a major flow that brings it down Main Street Shawnee. It's kind of extra because we came back through McAllister, and old 270 runs right through kind of that corridor, but that stayed pretty nice, but the downtown section is more dilapidated than what ours is. As far as where the businesses are. So we're fortunate that the community has went down there, remodeled the streets, put lights up. I mean, it is pretty neat to see that we've tried to create traffic flows to it, but it's hard, because the convenience of pulling off the interstate or a major thoroughfare is where all the major investments at. But and then you see these Tyson and some of them, which is huge in Arkansas, where they shut a plant down And then that community struggles. I mean, we've had a little bit with the plants out north of town, you know. You take Mobile Chemical, which is different now, and Eaton's out there now, and their workforce has shrunk. George Fisher's been one of the shining ones that has made a huge investment here, and we've seen them add to it, but we're really fortunate that we have a ton of employment in Oklahoma City in such a close proximity. So we're sitting really well. You know, when you drive other places, and really, you know, before I really didn't pay much attention to it. You know, you just the last couple of years, we do this every fall, and it's really interesting because you're going through some of the same communities, and you'll see them more and more boarded up, and then you'll see other ones that have done better with, you know, stopping people in that. But you know, we're fortunate to live in Shawnee, Oklahoma, I promise you. That's all I got.
I was just going to say I really appreciate the layout, the new layout. I appreciate the officers being here. I think it's great. I think we've learned something, that you can't be too safe. I think it's awesome that we've increased safety at our event. So appreciate you and you for being here, and the officer at the back.
Okay. And Mark stole about half what I was going to say, but that's great. That's fine. On the tax stuff, I want to give a shout out to staff who did the projected tax income, because that's like projecting a slot machine, because you're trying to guess what's coming, and this thing is so up and down. I'd much rather try to project a stock market than this, but I think overall we're doing pretty good. And like Mark was saying, we're very fortunate to have a lot of thoroughfares in our town. And as a Main Street property owner myself, I'm very invested in getting these empty buildings back in business. Let's at least try to get something in there and rejuvenate what we can. I'm old enough to remember when we had Crazy Days downtown, and it was the place to go. I mean, it was, everybody was down there at that time. Also, thanks to PD, we've had a few requests for some extra security just due to the fact that all the, like I was saying earlier, the craziness going on in the world. We never know when it's going to come to us. Better safe than sorry, and I appreciate the heck out of you guys for being here. I know it makes me feel safe and secure, and hopefully everybody in here is the same way. On some of the citizen comment stuff, we hear y'all loud and clear. There's no doubt about it. Sometimes it takes time to move things. This government is so slow, it drives me nuts sometimes. City government is just, it's like a tortoise. I'm used to running at a full rabbit speed. We're making changes here and there a little bit at a time. It's going to take a while for it to show. And I think staff's doing a great job. Got nothing but kudos for them. Chris?
Thank you. I want to say I was pretty excited that the animal shelter's going forward. That's going to be great for them. I'm sure they're ready. I think we're all ready as a city. Last month I went to an open house that the House of Hope put on, and I wanted to say that they're doing an amazing job there. I hadn't been there in 15 years, and they were handing out school supplies to over 200 kids all over the county, not just in Shawnee. And so I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to them and the good job they're doing over there. I do want to say the Pedalpalooza, I think you guys know that I'm a bike nerd by now, but Pedalpalooza, Boy Scout Park at 11 a.m. on Saturday. It's free to everybody, and it really get to show off how cool Boy Scout Park is. You know, we have a lot of great parks in town. Boy Scout Park's older, so you kind of get to go over there and see the new splash pad and stuff going over there. So take your kids there. It's great. Even if you don't have a bike, they'll have some you can ride. So, and then I want to say I'm really glad that everybody's as excited as I am about what's going on in downtown Shawnee. I live down here. I have my business down here. I've been down here since '07, my business. And this vacant building is going to really make a difference, I think, in this ordinance is going to make a difference in downtown with the facade and the trespassing. We're going to be able to really help landowners and business owners or property owners kind of move forward and see what we can do with downtown. And so glad that the rest of the commissioners share the excitement with me, and thank you very much.
Definitely agree with what everyone else said. Shawnee has one of the best main streets, in my opinion, in the state of Oklahoma. We go all around main streets and check them out, and I'm not saying we're comparing, but maybe a little bit. We compare, and I think that our main street is absolutely fabulous. It has the most businesses out of any main street that I've been to. People are happy to be there. They love it down here. I think it's getting better and better. There are new businesses going in. And so it really takes the town itself to support that and then promote that to the out of town people. Because I mean, we travel to other main streets, so I know people will travel here for a main street. And so it needs to be more often presented as a positive vibe. So every town has problems. I don't care what town you go to, they all have problems. We have our problems. Let's focus on the good stuff. I know that can be a little bit hard sometimes when the world is in turmoil, and there have been some very bad things that have happened this week. But Mark's absolutely right. Shawnee is a great place, and I think a lot of us get caught up in the things that make us upset or make us mad or whatever the case may be, and we can't see the forest through the trees, and it's kind of sad. So I really hope that everyone will come together and support each other in because all it does is help us. So if we talk about how great Shawnee is and tell people how much we love to live here, then it will in turn bring people here and move, have people move here and put that idea in their head. So I think we have a really good thing going with the city of Shawnee, and I think we're doing a lot of things the right way. So that's all I've got.
Okay, at this time, we will recess the city commission meeting by the power of the chair. We will convene Shawnee Airport Authority.
This is my least favorite part. This is my least favorite part.
Oh, Lisa, it doesn't like me.
I only took it one time. Yes.
Oh, and now I'm clicking on other meetings.
I knew that was coming. First time it went away, I knew that was coming.
Is it showing me at all?
It says not, it showed joined and then it went to not joined.
It just doesn't want.
Yeah, I just have to
be
rub it in your
involved. I can.
I know.
Oh, wait, did it work that
I
time?
don't blame you.
Well, it started to,
Okay, I'm just gonna thumbs up. It's fine. Whatever. I've clicked it like 17 times.
well, I have
Wait, did that work?
right now, just
Pull my mouth right? Just hang my mouth open?
You get me?
yes.
All right. Item number 1, consider approval of consent agenda. Can we get a motion, please?
I'll move to approve.
Motion?
Second.
And a second.
Now it's not even coming up.
Would you like to cast your vote?
Sure, yes.
Item carries 6-0. On item number 2, discussion and consideration of a request for a commercial aeronautical services agreement with Crosswind Cleaning LLC, DBA Sparrowhawk Detailing OKC. We'll call Bonnie Wilson, Airport Manager, for staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here again with good news, another business at the airport. We were approached by this company, which is a franchise of a larger corporate organization, who specializes in detailing aircraft without using any water, which is good. Apparently there's some sort of magic potion you put on that lifts the dirt away from the paint, and then you take it off, which is great for the environment, it's great for our operation area. We don't currently have a service like this at the airport. It'd be a great addition to our customers. The really good news is there's no capital investment on behalf of the airport authority or the vendor themselves. The risk is to the vendor that he'll able to establish some customer base here in Shawnee, and we're hoping to welcome him and his airplane, which will undoubtedly need to be fueled once it arrives. So the Airport Advisory Board has reviewed the proposal. The draft proposal agreement is in your packet, as well as the explanatory memo. Be happy to answer any questions, and to also advise you that the Airport Advisory Board has recommended that this go forward and that you approve the city manager to execute the agreement, as has staff.
Any questions for Bonnie on the airplane wash? Okay,
New business is good business.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And can we get a motion on this item?
I'll move to approve. Oh, sorry.
So we have a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Item carries 6-0. On to item number 3, any new business, Mr. City Manager.
No, sir.
All right. Power of the chair, we're going to convene that and go to the Shawnee Municipal Authority. Maybe. Yes.
Looks like you're gonna use something on it now. No. It's doing it again.
Kick me off.
Why? Why does it pick me every
Doing it
time?
again?
Is it only when Daniel's not here? I feel like it's only when Daniel's not here. So just like pick the next one in line.
Got a little thing going there. Yours doesn't work, mine does, mine doesn't work,
Yeah.
yours does.
Every one.
Okay,
It's,
everybody in?
I'm not,
I think I am.
I don't think I am.
Good. Item number 1, consider approval of consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Yes.
Item carries 6-0. Item number 2, any new business, Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
Okay, we're going to adjourn by the power of the chair and reconvene City Commission, item number 16.
That's his role in there.
Does she? Oh, well.
Okay,
It's
bear
acting
with
like
me.
it doesn't want to be.
Uh,
Okay, cool. Well, but I'm good. I was like, it's doing it again.
Item number 16, consideration, discussion, and possible action to enter into executive session to hold confidential communications between the City Commission of the City of Shawnee and its council concerning the settling of certain claims in pending litigation. City of Shawnee versus Purdue Pharma LP et al. Case number 119-OP-46155-DAP, pending in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio and related litigation, including potential resolution of certain claims against Purdue Pharma LP and its affiliated entities in Purdue Pharma LP's bankruptcy case, case number 719-BK-23649, pending in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York. Members of the Sackler family, the Sacklers, Alvogen Inc., Amneal Pharmaceuticals Inc., Apotex Inc., Hikma Pharmaceuticals USA Inc., Indivior Inc., Mylan Pharmaceuticals Inc., Sun Pharmaceutical Industries Inc., and Zydus Pharmaceuticals related to lawsuits against pharmaceutical supply chain participants of opioid prescription drugs, and taking appropriate action in open session, including possible authorization to settle claims, the disclosure of which may seriously impair the litigation if known by public disclosure as allowed by 25 Oklahoma Statute 307B4. Any discussion on this amongst the board? Okay, can we get a motion for item 16?
I move to enter executive session.
I will second.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. We will recess and go into executive session. Okay. We're going to reconvene city commission meeting now. Go to item number 17, consider approval of a resolution to include A, approving voting to accept the 13th amended joint chapter 11 plan of reorganization of Purdue and its affiliated debtors in participation in case number 19-23649, pending in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York, and authorizing and directing its legal counsel vote to accept the plan via master ballot or otherwise. B, approving voting to accept and participate in the governmental entity settlement agreement, the GESA, dated June 17, 2025, and authorizing the mayor of the city of Shawnee or the mayor's designee to execute the subdivision participation form for the city of Shawnee's participation in the GESA, and approval of the Purdue State subdivision agreement as it pertains to the plan and the GESA, and C, approving voting to accept and participate in the settlement agreements with Alvogen, Inc., Amneal Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Apotex, Inc., Hikma Pharmaceuticals USA, Inc., Indivior, Inc., Mylan Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Inc., and Zydus Pharmaceuticals, and authorizing the mayor of the city of Shawnee or the mayor's designee to execute the subdivision participation form for the city of Shawnee's participation in the settlements with Alvogen, Inc., Amneal Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Apotex, Inc., Hikma Pharmaceuticals USA, Inc., Indivior, Inc., Mylan Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Inc., and Zydus Pharmaceuticals, and D, authorizing litigation counsel in opioid litigation to negotiate and enter into a state subdivision agreement with the state through the Attorney General on behalf of the city of Shawnee with respect to the generic small secondary manufacturer settlement. Now we will call on Joe Vondran, City Attorney, for staff report.
Mayor, I don't think I can do much better than what you just did.
I crippled through it.
But just by way of brief review, these are part of the opioid litigation that was authorized several years ago. We just discussed the content of the settlements. The Purdue Pharma settlement is one that was previously entered into by the commission, but the bankruptcy court for the Southern District of New York has found some personal liability for the family that had the principal ownership of Purdue Pharma, which has put more money into the pot. So this is essentially a reapproval of the same settlement terms for some additional dollars, and then as was anticipated at the time of filing, some of these secondary and generic manufacturers will be trickling in as they accept the settlement matrices. So that's where we stand. Litigation counsel is recommending approval, staff is recommending approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any other questions for Joe on item 17? Can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve item number 17.
Second.
Have a motion to second. Call on City Attorney to read the resolution title, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution to approve participation in settlements with Purdue Pharma LLP, members of the Sackler family, Alvogen, Inc., Amneal Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Apotex, Inc., Hikma Pharmaceuticals USA, Inc., Indivior, Inc., Mylan Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Inc., and Zydus Pharmaceuticals.
Thanks, sir.
Yes.
And the motion carries 6-0. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you guys for staying late.